Joining me now is Slam Magazine's Anthony Gilbert. He is a Knicks appreciator, let's say. Even though he's from Philly, that's disappointing. Ant, how are you?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you. I
All right,
did have
first
my
of all,
Flyers jacket on today.
but like, how did this happen? How did you go from being friends with Kobe to all of a sudden we're
Yeah.
all Knicks stuff? Because the Knicks haven't been relevant since how to lose a guy in 10 days, and now all of a sudden they're
Yeah.
like a contender. How did it
Yeah.
happen?
All right, that's a great question. So the Sixers traded Barkley in '92. I was a huge Charles Barkley fan.
Me too.
So between that and the fact that like my whole paternal side is from New York, so it was like it's my second home. So the trade Barkley, and I am not happy. Granted, we're kids, but I'm not happy, and I decide, you know what, I'm gonna be a Knicks fan. And then I just really dedicated my energy and my time, my efforts to the Knicks. So when it came time for internship, when I was at Temple University, I was like about MSG. I worked for MSG, worked for the Knicks, and worked for the Liberty once the season was over. So, and it's been a good run since.
I don't know why you were mad, man. They got Tim Perry in that deal. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, what's to be mad about? Jeff
Oh
Hornacek came.
man.
He was a little cooked, but
Yeah,
whatever.
they had the uniform with the shooting stars going
Yeah,
across. Yeah, that was
yeah.
an
They had
interesting time.
Sean Bradley and
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
Weatherspoon.
I understand. I do. And the Knicks at that time weren't very good either. They only had some
No,
Patrick guy.
no.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. I mean they were getting there. They were definitely getting there. Like they swept Philly and they were on the incline. And then they kind of went on their little run. You got 94, 99. And then there's the Dark Ages. Uh,
yeah.
but they're back.
They are
Yeah.
back. I do want to before we get to them, I want to get to what you witnessed last night, but the entirety of the Celtics series. Sixers do something
Yeah.
they've never done before. They come back 3-1 in the series. What was your biggest takeaway over them finally getting over the hump and beating Boston?
Yeah, I think that they learned to like play with Embiid again. So they had become pretty proficient like playing without, and they were like a running gun. You have the whole VJ Max thing going on. Um, and then you get Paul George, you get Grimes, and everybody's like a star in their role. Embiid comes back. Okay, he's gonna start, but he was getting all his usual touches and it just threw their rhythm off. But they quickly learned in that loss. I want to say it was
Game
game
4.
three or
Game
four.
4.
Yeah, they lost, and then they figured out like, okay, okay, all right, we got it. And then I like what I see from Embiid. Like he's playing with this fire, and he's just saying like, look, man, I done lost all the game sevens. I want to do better. I want better for my career. So like great game, and it's actually the exact matchup I wanted because I get to go to the practice and cover the Knicks. So I'm super selfish reasons, of course.
I'd imagine that you're pumped about that. I saw a
Yeah.
video before the series, or it was like during the series, and it was Celtics fans
Mhm.
diminishing Joel Embiid, and they were saying, like, is he a Hall of Famer? And Celtics fans are like, nah, he's always injured and stuff. And look, like we're fans, so like I get it. You get people walking
Mhm.
out of the arena, they're going to be emotional, but it annoys me that there are people in this city, the city of Philadelphia, that do not appreciate the greatness that we get to witness. A 7'2"
Yeah.
Cameroonian unicorn. You being
Yeah.
a journalist, like how just talk to these people. Like how generationally good is this man? Because I fear that he's going to get the treatment of like, man, we didn't appreciate him when he was here. Now
Mhm.
he's gone.
Mhm.
You talk about the dark ages, like now we're stuck with,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh who Frederick
Yeah.
Wise is our draft pick. Like
Yeah.
so How good do you think
Who
he is?
never reported to the Knicks, by the way. But
Well, yeah,
yes,
because they said, look, Vince Carter did you in. We don't need your services. But
yeah.
yeah,
No,
as
I think you're right. You know, like it's unfortunate. He's a once in a lifetime, you know, multi-dimensional player. Um, when he was, because like Embiid got drafted, he was hurt. Then he kind of was on the mend and was like, I don't know if you remember, but he would like warm up in pregame warmups with the team,
yeah, that
and
was
he
the
would
only
put
reason to
on
go to
like
the games.
these crazy shows like dunking, like between the legs and all that stuff. Then he gets hurt, and then he's back on the mend again. So during that time, I had known enough and seen enough, and I was like, listen, I think this guy could be like the second coming of Moses Malone. And everybody's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, I know. I was like, but Moses was that missing piece. And I was like, Embiid's the missing piece. Now, more skilled than Moses offensively. Moses is a better like rebounder, defender. But if you had to pick one of the two to say who's the better all-around player, it's Embiid. And I don't mean any disrespect to Big Mo, but the game has changed, you know, and with that evolution, you have this multi-dimensional, amazing Joel Embiid.
Let's look at the future of the team because Joel Embiid right now he's 35, I think.
Yeah,
34, 35, whatever he is.
yeah.
And the future obviously is Tyrese Maxey, but also VJ Edgecombe. More so about Edgecombe, man. Like when you watch this dude play, who do you see?
Oh man. So a great question. Man. All right. You're not gonna like this answer. But he gives me like Latrell Sprewell. Like when Sprewell was like at his height in Golden State, and then obviously
Minus the one
what
thing.
of course. But
All right.
like as he started to ascend, um once his jumper gets better, because he has that type of like explosiveness. Once his jumper gets better, I think the sky's the limit. You know, it's going to be hard to pinpoint who he's going to play like because he's so explosive and he's learning at a rapid rate. But once that jumper becomes consistent, and he's shown promise from outside, you know, um, but him and Tyrese are obviously the future. They trade away Jared McCain, which was kind of weird. Thought
Yeah.
that he would have been a good nucleus, you know, part of that nucleus for their future. Um, but you know, we'll see. You know, sometimes Philly outsmarts themselves. You know, so the whole Mikal Bridges thing, which is going to be interesting.
Why'd
But
you
they
have to
have
bring that up?
VJ. Well, because like Grimes got drafted by New York, and Bridges got drafted by
You
Philly.
want to
So
trade? Well, we can trade them if you want.
I like what I see from Grimes, though.
No, me too. Me too.
Yeah,
He had a very quiet 3 points last night, and I don't mean that sarcastically. Like
yeah.
he did a lot of little things that don't show up in the box
Hmm.
score. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him after the season.
Yeah.
But moving on to the Knicks and to Mikal Bridges and
Hmm.
the core that they have you know built together.
Yeah.
How do you ultimately see the series playing out? Because we saw what happened 3 years ago, but
Yeah.
that was Embiid on one leg with a pinch of palsy. So
Yeah.
how does it go?
I I feel like we'll probably get like a 4-2 Knicks, like Knicks in six. And the only reason why I say that is because I think Embiid is still touched up a bit. He's inspired, but between the surgery and like just the rigors of this of the playoffs, like and like I don't know about the current NBA, but the old NBA, like you would attack a player that you knew was ailing. You would bump them. You would bruise them up a little bit more. And I'm pretty sure there's still a little bit of that because you only have 16 games until you're hoisting the trophy. So Um, because he's not at full health, and because the Knicks have like depth, I feel like Philly will definitely get 2 games. They might get a third, but I still give it the advantage to the New York Knicks.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way with that. Fourth quarter, and you talk about Joel Embiid being motivated, and obviously he was, but
Hmm.
fourth quarter it was same old kind of where he was clearly
Yeah,
gassed. He's over in the corner.
yeah,
I like the fact though that for the first time in I don't know ever that in the fourth
yeah.
quarter he's clearly gassed and they didn't give him the ball. It was like they
Right.
gave him the ball a couple touches late in the game. He was missing it, and then Tyrese Maxey's like, I'll just take over.
Hmm.
But yeah, I kind of tend to agree with you. I think the Knicks are just a deeper team, and that's one thing that we saw in the series against Boston was that Nick Nurse didn't really use a bench much at
Yeah.
all. Do you think that changes against the Knicks?
I think you have to. I think that he really has to make these adjustments, and say, okay, I got to get some of these other guys involved. But again, with the whole like he never bought into Jared McCain, so it's kind of like who's going to fill these minutes? I love what I see from Bona, but Bona's undersized. Um, you got Grimes. Like it gets a little interesting once you get past like those two guys. We're only looking at 7 people right now, but like they're probably going to go to at least 8, maybe 9 if there's some foul trouble or injury. But we'll see, man. It's going to be tricky because when you do go to the bench, you also have to look at like that experience, which advantage New York.
All right, last one before I let you go. When you look at this series, where do the Sixers have a clear advantage, or where do they have a clear disadvantage in your opinion?
I think their advantage is going to be with Maxi and Edgecombe for sure. And if Embiid is feeling good, he's going to pose like some serious like problems for the Knicks front court. But Brunson is not going to be able to contain Maxi or Edgecombe, so that's not going to be his assignment. That's going to be more for Josh Hart and for Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, to really just contain those guys and make sure that they can't get too comfortable, or to make sure like, okay, you guys are going to score 25 and 30, but we're going to make everybody else beat us, which is not, a crazy strategy. So that's like the Sixers' strength is like attacking Brunson, using their versatility with Maxi and Edgecombe, Paul George as well, because he's had a good first round series. Um, and then their deficiency is going to be their depth, and it's going to be like, okay, how do we go back down the other end? How do we maintain our fouls? How do we defend the Knicks? And then how do we use our depth or lack thereof to spell some of these guys so that they'll have enough to finish in the fourth quarter? Because we've seen that where, you play well for a half or for 3 quarters, and then that fourth quarter it falls apart.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what happened 3 years ago or whatever, or 2 years
Hmm.
ago. I don't know, whatever
Hmm.
the series was. All right, Anthony, I appreciate it, man. I hope you're wrong.
Thank you. Yeah.
I hope you are miserable in about a week and a half. Respectfully, of course. But
Yeah,
I
yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it. I do want to get you on at some point to talk about the Kobe stories because I texted you. I was listening to Mike Sealski's Kobe book, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden it's Anthony Gilbert, and I turned into
yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I was like, I know
You're like,
that
wait a
guy.
minute.
Wait, I know
Yeah,
him. All right,
man.
so he's
Yeah.
hitting on Kobe's sister at Temple, and he's rebounding for him.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Once upon a
um,
time.
yeah, I definitely want to get you on later on and talk about that stuff. But I appreciate your time, man, and have a good one.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.